I've known since I was 4 years old that I was a lesbian. So when I wanted to kiss and hold hands with Jodie Foster when I was 4, and I knew that I wasn't supposed to.
It took about 5-6 years for them to fully come around from being very worried about what people are going to think, all that negative stuff, and what did they do wrong.
When I first started working in 1988, I remember that I would have conversation with colleagues about their life's events, whether it was they were getting married or they were dating someone and they were having a child, or they even got 2 new puppies that weekend. And I remember that I also wanted to express those things that were happening in my life, but it was just very difficult at that time. And I didn't feel like I was part of a team where I was included.
Just find a way to get out of the situation I was in without ending my life.
I had a cousin who was older than me, and she came out to the family, and she was basically excommunicated from the family. So that kind of told me to stay in the closet.
Before, there was this real struggle of not wanting to be gay and really wishing it would just go away, and trying to figure out how I could change my life in such ways that it wouldn't be involved. I wouldn't be involved in that.
Growing up, I was teased often. I was talked about often. It hurt a lot. You know, I've thought about committing suicide a lot, and I've thought about, ending everything, because at a young age you just can't deal with certain things. But I held to the strength knowing that I knew that I had a plan for my future, and I knew that my future would be bright.
Always trying to blend in and fit in, and it just didn't, you didn't feel like you were with the group because there was something you really couldn't discuss or with the other people that you were at school.
Came out to my family. My mom and my sister knew from my teen years, but I'd never come out to my father. He lived in North Carolina. I lived in Maryland. And when I came out to my dad proceeded to not speak to me for 7 years.
So I really haven't spoken with my dad within 20 years.
When I graduated, I think I had a lot of issues with my self-esteem.
That was probably the most difficult part of coming out, just hiding it, and then when I did come out, the first real person that I came out to just completely abandoned me.
There's a choice involved about how much power you're willing to give the struggle in your life.
A music teacher of mine when I was 14, and as I got to know him, he, I think, realized way before I did that I was gay.
Saying the normal terminology, I was always a fag right off the bat when I didn't even know what that term meant.
It's been a long process, but very worth it.
I think that's with anyone, especially in the transgender community, when you have such a stigma, you have to work extra hard to become out of that box. You have to work extra hard to prove to people that this is me, this is who I am. I'm not in a particular set group.
My coming out was met with little surprise from my parents.
Really become more comfortable with who you are, and I think you really start to embrace who you are, and you start to accept the things that you can't change.
Those people that are negative and dysfunction in your life, you need to learn to let them go, even if they are family members.
You have to really focus on your talents and your building skills to actually survive whatever you're going through right now.
If you see someone or you know someone who is struggling, just try to be an ear for that person.
Believe in yourself, because that's the number one key to making it in this life, is believing in oneself and then knowing that you are a person, you are special, you're different, yes, and that's what makes you even better.
You learn to take the struggle that you're in and make it mean something to you.
A wise person told me is that everything that's worth doing is difficult.
It gets better because you realize that it's not the end of the world, and that it's just a part of your identity. It's just a part of who you are.
You really have to give people a chance to change their perspective.
What mattered to me before really wasn't important.
The main thing is being true to yourself.
You have to believe you can get past it, I guess.
all I have to say is just keep focused and keep yourself knowing that there is a better way and there's a better life, and knowing that you can come out of this better.
And always let somebody else have a chance to actually speak up for you. You'd be surprised who will help you.
Confirming who you are, what you like, who you love, what you don't like. I think that it helps life get better and better, because whatever you feel on the inside comes out on the outside, and it reflects onto others, and you get that view back from them.
I'm very proud of Hopkins for removing the stigma out and looking at the person, looking at the potential, because that's what I've seen, that's what I've noticed, and I know that even though we may not be perfect, the least we could do is try, and that's what Hopkins has done, and I'm very proud of you for that.
Too often do I focus on a negative incident without recognizing that there are a lot of positive things going on around it.
Today I can say that I have a husband and we're happy, and I can tell all of the fun things that we do and our life experiences with my colleagues and share them, which I didn't feel comfortable doing 25 years ago.
I think people are out at work now in all sorts of fields, like engineering and science, where I work.
Things have improved for me in my career, in that I think people have had more confidence in me as they've seen me have confidence in myself.
And when I got married, my boss gave us a wedding gift, which really blew my mind, that he was supporting us and we were accepted. And I even have a picture of my husband on my desk in my office. So things definitely have changed.
I've always wanted to be a parent, and they've always known that. Everyone who's seen me parent, my kid's 13 now. It's been the most wonderful thing in my life.
I've had a very successful career here, and I've always been open about my sexuality.
Now, at 30, my life is far, far better than I would have ever guessed. It would have been as a teenager. I think society has changed a huge amount. I'm now legally married to my wife, and I never would have thought that would have been possible as a teenager.
I'll make my career where I can, and I won't let being gay stay in the way of that.
I notice a lot of people, more of the straight crowd, are very supportive of it, and it really makes me smile that now we live in a world that everyone can be accepted.
I say embrace you, and just be true to who you are. It's the best thing you can do, and it'll get easier. It'll get so much easier.